And I put myself in the position of a believer, and it does create really magical experiences. Even though logically, I don't believe in gods or spirits or metaphysics, it doesn't matter to me. I just suspend my disbelief and I use what it has to offer me to help me live a beautiful life. Not all tarot readers are channeling spirits or gods. I am a secular tarot reader and a spiritual atheist. Sometimes I call myself a secular witch. Either spiritual atheist or secular witch both work fine for me. I call myself a spiritual atheist because I don't believe in gods. I don't work with any gods, but I do use aspects of spirituality. I use altars, I use tarot, I use crystals. I use them to help me live an aligned life, to help me be courageous in my community. They help me live intentionally and mindfully. I use things that science has studied and shows to be very powerful, such as placebo effects, ritualizing things. So I use these things, though I don't believe they have any inherent metaphysical qualities. A quick disclaimer before I go any farther into this. I know that atheists can be quite evangelical in the way they talk to other people. Quite a lot of us have experience with atheists who are just dead set on trying to make you and me believe what they believe, to see the world in the way they see the world, to explain the world in the way they explain the world. I am not like that. I have no problem holding two truths at the same time. I believe science can explain what we experience as spiritual things. For me, atheism is my best attempt at understanding the way the world works. But I know other people have different explanations and different approaches and different beliefs. And for me, it's not important to me that you and I believe the same things in this realm. I don't believe in a right way or a true way. As long as your spirituality is not hurting you or other living things or the earth, then I'm not going to try to make you believe what I believe. I'm going to break this video into two parts. I am going to talk about my spirituality because I think it really flows into how I use tarot. But before I do that, let me just point you toward a few other people who have a lot more content about this, and I will link them all below. I was inspired to do this video from a video from Tangy Tarot. I have gotten so much out of no-nonsense spirituality. That whole channel is fantastic. It's really about this, atheist approach and spirituality and how religion functions in the world. I'd also recommend Sedna Wu, Entangled Encounters, and Vincent Petici. He's got a few videos about how tarot works that I will link below. Those folks have really helped me kind of put words to my experience in the world and how I approach things and how I understand things. I highly recommend if you're interested in this topic. Before I dive into secular tarot, I do want to just touch on a little bit my secular spirituality. I feel like they're sort of two paths in the same road. So like I said before, no gods, spirits, angels, demons, things like that. That is not part of my belief system or my practice, but what is a huge basis for my spirituality is connection. Connection between people, animals, nature, inanimate objects. I have always, my entire life, been extremely connected with inanimate objects, and I think animism may be another close example of how I see the world and how I experience spirituality. I did grow up Roman Catholic, and I find that kind of that experience that people in my life have called God happens in the space between us. And that space between us, I just mean anything outside of myself. But connection to me, the space between me and you, the connection between, me and this table, that is where I find awe. That is where I find spirituality, and that is the basis of a lot of the decisions I make and the practices I have in my spiritual practice. I believe that my spiritual practices are psychological exercises and that they can be explained through science, such as things like the placebo effect, ritualization, visualization, externalization, things like that. And I purposefully use them in my spiritual practices with altars and prayer beads and meditation. I do a lot of like folk witchcraft based on my Italian heritage. All these things resonate with me and they mean something to me and they help me feel more connected to myself and to the world. All that being said, that is sort of the basis for how I approach my tarot. I approach tarot as a psychological exercise. So it is therapeutic in nature. I do not believe there is a future that I can access, that there is a God or a spirit that has access to this future that the cards can reveal to us. That is not within my belief system. It gives you a chance to see new perspectives, kind of get past your ego, calm your mind, look at new options. It's really a creative thinking exercise. I do not believe that these cards are accessing a spirit or a God who is telling us what to do. A lot of people use tarot to try to find certainty in their lives, and I don't think tarot can do that. I am not pulling cards and getting access to some certain future that I can reveal to you if you come to me. I don't believe there is a future that I can reveal. We have the present, and that's all we have. But the tarot cards and the person reading them are a great tool in creative thinking and getting us new perspectives and insights. But I don't think that I or the cards are telling you something you don't already know. We are not gatekeepers to some sort of knowledge that you don't already have access to. What we are is creating an environment and creating a connection that allows you to unearth those things for yourself. People come to tarot in really tender times, and certainty feels like something we really need to set us at ease. And I totally get that. But I think tarot's best use and its true power is to help you cope with uncertainty, to help empower you to make good decisions for yourself. I'm going to point you toward a video from Sybil's Lab of Cartomantics about uncertainty. It's just so well said and just really, really beautiful. But I do want to touch on it here that I think the true power of a tarot reading is helping you make choices in your life that helps you deal with that uncertainty, or to help you sit in it and wait and to be patient while things shake out. I think that's what tarot is for, not for trying to access some future that is mapped out for you. Approaching tarot the way I do means that what I can help you with is insight, new perspectives, advice, helping you calm your nervous system, and that connection to the cards and that connection to the person who's coming to me, or that renewed connection to myself when I read for myself, is a deeply spiritual experience for me. I do ritualize my tarot readings so that they feel, like a spiritual experience, and so that I'm in a good place to do them. So for example, I light a candle, I set out my crystals, I use my mat, I set out a particular mat. I shuffle the cards until the deck feels awake, until it feels energized. And this is a point where my atheism and my disbelief in the metaphysical has to be bypassed, because I believe I am connecting with that deck. Like I said earlier about my spirituality, I am so connected to inanimate things, and decks included. And so I shuffle until the deck and I feel like we're at one. Essentially, it's awake. I connect with the deck, I lay the cards out, and then I take my left hand and I run my hand over the cards until one feels like it's tugging at me. So again, some folks might say that this is sort of me believing in the metaphysical. Maybe. I personally feel like it's that connection I feel with inanimate objects. And is that me putting myself in a magical state of mind, or is it real magic? I'm not sure. And to be honest, I don't really care. All I know is that it works. I feel like when I do my readings that way, I feel deeply connected to the cards. I feel confident that I've pulled the right one. I don't second guess myself. And then I can release myself to interpret what I'm seeing. I can let the intuition flow. I believe that I have 78 great pieces of advice when I lay out those cards. And so what I pull, the specific cards I pull is almost beside the point. They are going to help the querent and I come up with a really good path forward. And I truly believe there are many good paths forward at any given time for anyone. And the cards let us think creatively about what that path might be. I also like to tell people that I do slow tarot. I need to connect with the cards. I need to sit quietly so they can talk to me, so that I can interpret them, so that we can be in this space together where the cards, the querent, and I are all connected. And that goes for when I read for myself as well. I take my time back to that connection. If I'm rushing, that connection is severed. And so everything I do, whether it's working with altars or crystals or tarot or just sitting with a friend, that connection for me is the basis of all of it. And I put myself in the position of a believer in order to do these things. And it does create really magical experiences for me. Even though logically, I don't believe in gods or spirits or metaphysics, like all of these things, it doesn't matter to me. I just suspend my disbelief and I use what it has to offer me to help me live a beautiful life. I think tarot is for everyone. And so this approach may not be for you. There might be a better approach for how you want to read tarot or approach spirituality. But I hope that sort of hearing about someone else's approach helps you either access a new way of doing things or understand your own approach a little bit better. I personally love learning about how other people read and their spirituality and how they sort of explain how these things work. Like I said before, I'm going to link a bunch of resources down below. Like if you liked it, subscribe for more tarot content, and thanks for stopping by.